Metal Levite Alex here with my final and hopefully final plus review of Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. Well, 59 parts and I finally did it. I am about to try to finish the game. The last couple 2-3 or so parts has pretty much been dealing with the finale of the game. And it went in both ways I expected and in ways that I frankly wish did not happen. And there's a lot of game to go over. And yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this game. Some pleasant, well, some not so pleasant, and stuff in the middle that is kind of worth noting. So we got the good, the bad, and the ugly right here. So yeah, the last couple parts I pretty much just finished the main campaign in the game, and much to my mild disappointment, there's post-game content where you have to go and do stuff, even though the game technically ended, that quite frankly there shouldn't be any point to doing. But considering that I'm very much a completist, I want to do what I can anyway. And for whatever reason, it took me back here. Didn't they say that, okay, yeah, stuff just showed up. Centauri for the next installment of my long-running series. I'd like to all to meet an enigmatic one by the name of Centauri, a minstrel by trade. She's apparently on an epic quest to find the one true king, who it is her destiny to serve, which she'll succeed in her search. One to watch, Dekka, the geomancer by the name of Dekka, by sensing the flow of energy within the land. I'm interested in trying out the local delicacies, blah blah blah. Singul, gifted bard. So yeah, the game, well, this is odd. Instead of taking me back to my kingdom like I would expect it to, like it did in the first, or at the very least the last place before the actual main finale, they took me all the way back to the final fight with Doloran. Why, I'm not sure. But yeah, supposedly once I beat the game once, they unlock like post-game content, and I kind of want to finish all that off and review the game in the process, so that way I get two things done in once. I initially wanted to do this yesterday, but I couldn't because yesterday was my long day, meaning I had work and a cast to go and do. So I think now is a good time to finally do it. Wanted to do this earlier today, but a lot of stuff happened either way. Researchers specializing in King's cradles in recent years have made many new discoveries. Believe our nature of fundamental misunderstanding regarding their nature, more precisely regarding their name, is rather misleading. It would seem, for they are not cradles at all, but gates, access points that connect our world to that of the Kingmakers. When a Kingmaker forms a pact with a human and vows to protect the kingdom, the corresponding cradle ceases to function as a doorway to that realm, but when a kingdom is destroyed and its kingmaker lost, the cradle will once again begin to function as a gateway from which another kingmaker may appear. No one knows when these mysterious portals were created or by whom, but it seems certain that no mere human could have accomplished such a feat. Okay. So, if you've been keeping up with me in this game for the past month or two, you know that this game has pretty much been the long-awaited sequel to, well, you know, Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. A game that for all intents and purposes became a cult hit. and one that I'm honestly glad I was able to play, even if it was a little later than most. And so having, you know, prepped myself for this game in the process, because I really wanted to get into it, I was looking forward to Ni no Kuni 2. And for the most part, I like the game. It does a lot of good things. But the game also has been delayed so many times. At the same time, did what we ended up getting really match to the first game? Well, let's start with the overall premise. Ni no Kuni 2 takes place, I would say, hundreds of years. They don't really specify. After the events of Ni no Kuni 1, the Wrath of the White Witch. It's been centuries. Things have changed a lot. Wildly so. I mean, Ding Dong Dell, you play as this kid, Evan, who's been usurped from his throne, and he has to start all over again and make a new kingdom. Said kingdom that he hailed from being Ding Dong Dell, which was one of the central locations in the previous game. Okay. Can I change costume? Yep, I can do it. Ah, finally give him one with his crown. Any new outfits for any of the other ones? Nope. None for him, apparently. Okay. And so, yeah, you pretty much... The story is pretty simple. King Evan wants to make a better world, happy one, and he wants to unite all the kingdoms and, you know, settle the score with what happened there, which he does peacefully, sort of. And we also have a villain called Doloran, who's trying to, like, bring back his kingdom by taking the Kingmakers, which are basically dragon-based beings who are bonded to all the other rulers. And we have another character named Roland, who comes to our world after seeing one of his cities get nuclear destroyed, and seeing World War III start right in front of him, and he gets zapped to our world and de-aged. So basically, he's the president where he's from. Yes, the president of the United States is a co-star of this game, along with this kid who's king. So, yeah. Okay, so trade tokens for gratitude. You don't have anyone else at the moment? Are you kidding me? So much for... Okay, so much for doing the final quest lines. I guess I'll have to find them. Now, some things do come back from the first game, namely this guy, the Taskmaster.
Oh, by the way,
they completely retooled him. You don't have to do as much of his stuff that you do is pretty much optional now. Like, stupidly, all you have to do is just get tokens, and that's it. Okay, I'm trying to look for where these guys are. Now the gameplay is a bit different. It's much more hack and slash based than it was in the previous game, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, on the good hand, it kind of gives you something new to do, but on the other hand, it's a lot less strategic. And honestly, I'm a little in the middle. Like, when the game is going fun and you're kicking ass, using all different powers and weapons, it's awesome. But on the other end, depending on how you do, the game to me feels a tad too easy. And the game gives you the option to block enemy attacks, but honestly, I never really bothered. I honestly forgot about it 90% of the time.
Hey.
We are acquainted, are we not? I don't think so, but perhaps I've just forgotten. Could you tell me your name? That might jog my memory. Perhaps my name is Singul. Oh my god, he's amnesiac, isn't he? Perhaps that's your name? That's a very strange thing to say, and I'm sorry, but I don't think I've ever heard that name before. Have you forgotten me then? No, it seems unlikely. It's supposed to be our first encounter. Fate has brought us together. Destiny has brought about this momentous event. I'm not sure you are the one who will reunite me with my true name. You'll help me. You must. Now listen, Cynical is only part of my name, so it is my name, perhaps. See, I traveled the world along the way. I've forgotten a great deal about myself. Singing songs, became known as a bard as a result. Smiles of faces, listen to me perform. Remember the fierce, delicious heart of 1,000 plates of molten curry. Can you imagine such a thing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm rather busy, but I digress. I encountered travels, and those whose heart remains. You seek them out, you must gather pieces, you unite your true self, it is your destiny. Ugh. Oh great, a riddle. So, yeah, much of the game is, half the game is pretty much going out and fighting, slaying monsters and doing fetch quests. And the other game, half of the game, is starting new kingdom for Evan, Evermore. And I have no fucking clue how to solve this guy's thing. Guess I'm gonna have to look it up, because I don't know, nor do I care that much, to be honest. And so you're pretty much going about making your kingdom, and that's probably one of the cool things about it. It kind of adds a bit of an RTS aspect to the game, building up your civilization, and also controlling armies on the field, albeit simplistically. And the graphics and visuals for Ni no Kuni 2 are very good. I would say they are a step up from the first game. They're not exactly the same, but because the character models are slightly different. Like in the previous game, a lot of the characters had a bit more soft, stockier look. In this game, the character models are a bit taller, a little more, I guess, skinnier, like, and differently proportioned to some extent. But all the same, they look good, and a lot of the stuff that we see, like the water, looks fantastic. So visually, the game looks great. Where the game and the story, while simplistic, is still fun, and I like the characters of Roland, Evan, Bracken, Leander, Tani, and Batu. They're your main party, each with their own skills and weapons. Oh man, what a miss. I don't have enough manpower to finish this research. Who's going to save Sequoia Valley now? Doesn't sound good. Oh hey Evan, sorry you weren't supposed to hear that. It's just kind of in a bind. You see, I work in environmental research over at Broadleaf, and I was sitting here to see if there was anything we could learn to help us with our eco projects. What are they? Knows how polluted Sequoia Valley's become, right? Decide to fix it. Still in research stages right now. Water purity, so I guess you can see why I must be sent here. Sea parts are always so clean and clear. Be said to be unspoiled, it's Hydropolis. I'm sure you'll be able to learn a lot here. Sure, nice talk. Somebody who gets it. Joining my research team for a while, kind of understaffed right now. Love to help.
Thanks.
You're a lifesaver, you know that? I need you to actually, pretty simple, you need to just collect water samples from 3 different spots around the city. You could do that for me. Not the most exciting, but you'll really be helping us out. Happy sampling. Okay. And part of the whole kingdom building thing, you need to go out, recruit, and sometimes you'll have to, sometimes you won't have to do quests in order to get them on board. And they help you with their own little skills on how to level up you, your spells, your party members, and armor abilities, and weapon building, and all that crap. And honestly, that's possibly the most satisfying thing about the game, the kingdom making. Watching how you start off from a lowly village to a grand to a grand and spanking new kingdom. It's satisfying, and I like it. Again, not complicated like for games like, say, Sid Meier's Civilization or anything like that, but it does the job. And I have a good... And the writing, for the most part, is well done, and I have a good laughs with the characters. And like I said, the gameplay is fluid and all. But that's kind of where it all ends. Oh, and also the locations. You have plenty. Like a good variety. You got your ice world, you got your desert world, this lost continent here, a reef here, and of course cities, and new cities too. With the exception of with Ding Dong Dell being the sole exception. Everywhere that you may have seen from the first Ni no Kuni, that's all gone. All the land masses have completely changed over the intervening years between the games. And in some ways that's good, in other ways it's questionable, and that's where I'll explain. And that's kind of where, honestly, the good stuff kind of ends. Now, oh wait, I also forgot to mention, yeah, instead of familiars, you have higgledies, which are a whole new thing now. You don't do the whole Pokemon thing like we used to do. So yeah, I like the combat. It's fresh, kind of gives it its own identity, and they all have their own little elemental abilities that can either heal you, buff you, or affect and debuff rival enemies that you come across. Seawater sample B. Now, where the game ultimately starts to suffer is, like I mentioned, in terms of gameplay, the game, to me, for a good chunk of it, is a hair too easy. Like, you'll be, depending on where you are in the game and if you've leveled up enough, you can pretty much breeze through pretty much everything in the game. To the point that it's kind of ludicrous. I mean, there are difficult parts of the game, like the dream door segments, which honestly I've complained a bit about, but that's like an offshoot part of the game. It's not really something that's so essential to the story. So if you're going by just the story-based missions, you're likely gonna breeze through them. And in regards to the world building and the storytelling, that's where I kind of have a bit of a problem with Ni no Kuni. Again, you know how I said all the continents and stuff was different? Well, that's the thing. The way the story is structured of Ni no Kuni 2 and how the world is presented makes it half the time come across less like a sequel and more like a reboot that is only implied to be a sequel, which leaves me pretty confused, honestly. I mean, at the end of the game, we get a sword called Mornstar, but that was a wand in the first game. So what happened? Was the wand broken? Did they just make a sword in its honor? We don't know. I don't know. The game kind of wants you to just take things at face value and accept it. Here's your samples. Nice. Mind-blowing, no impurities whatsoever, 100% pure. How is this even possible? Big kingdom like this must produce pollution of some kind. Speed, no. What about another test? Here we go. Magically purified, huh? Pretty cool, but does this mean somebody's casting spells in this whole ocean? Whoa, that's kind of awesome. So is it good news? Do you know how to save Sequoia Valley? These waters... Sorry, man. These water samples really blew my mind. I totally forgot you were even there. So it's good news? That's wonderful. Problem is, I kind of need something to compare it against. A control sample, you know. Would you mind going get one from me? I'd go myself, but the place we need to get it from is, well, kind of inhospitable. Tried to stop by there on the way here, but there are too many monsters, and I just thought, nah. Probably still around, but you can always take care of yourself, right? What do you say, Evan? You up for this? Of course. I've been keen to clean up Sequoia Valley as you are. You need me to get the water from? Super cold water you can only get from this place in the shade of a rock on an island called Markronos. That's the stuff I need. Take your ship and head east, and you'll see it soon enough. Thanks for this, man. Really appreciate it. Okay. So yeah, this thing, how the continents are all set up. And there's even a puzzle moment, where you get your kinda sorta, but not really fairy companion Lofty, where it's kind of, they present like a lore-ish, they try to catch you up to speed with the events of the first game, with what Oliver and his friends did in the first game. The problem is, that also is retold in a way that also is contradictory to the first game. So, really, in terms of story and world building, Ni no Kuni 2 feels, in a lot of ways, completely detached from the first game. Especially lore-wise, and if you're coming off thinking you knew anything from the previous game, you come into this game, you're going to be really floored like I am, because if you pay attention a lot and care about consistent world building and storytelling, that's where the game really falters. Should be around here some water. The researcher was after. Should be around here. Mind you step in on it.
All right.
Let's see. And it's one of these troublesome enemies again. What's the matter?
Oh.
It's a giant jellyfish. Yeah, and they suck. The worst enemy in the game by far. There'd be monsters to deal with. Come on, let's give it a whacking. Suppose we're going to have to. We're going to be able to collect our water sample. Otherwise, here goes nothing. And you'll see how actiony it is. Yeah, you can throw your spells as a ranged attack, and you got spell attacks. Oh my god, this thing is an annoyance. Yeah, this is the worst enemy in the game, kind of enemy in the game by far. So broken. Go away. Yeah, see, there's Mornstar right there. And if you're a veteran, you'd know that is not what Mornstar was, or what it looked like. Bottle of bit of water, so we go... Seawater sample. Awful lot murkier than the water we collected in Hydropolis, doesn't it? Don't think it's poisonous to you. Just spill any on me, alright? Let's go and give our researcher pal his latest sample. So, yeah. The retelling of Ni no Kuni 1 isn't in line with the first game. None of the civilizations from the first game are anywhere to be found. I mean, there's ruins here and there, but they don't really imply anything. Well, they don't really mean much. Natsuka, which was the lost city in the previous game, is brought up, but that's pretty much it. The names are there, but the actual events are skewed, and And not only just the towns and citizens from that where they are gone, even the races that are supposed to exist aren't here. The fairies, the snowmen, the Al Mamoon cat cow people aren't here. A lot of what was there is not here anymore. I mean, the cat and mice feud from Ni no Kuni 1, that's brought back and is part of the central plot, at least to a certain degree. I will give the game credit in that the villain is pretty much active throughout the story. Doloran, he's not... He is in the background for a majority of it, but he does come up every now and then to cause trouble, so at least he has more of a presence than the White Witch ever did, who literally just shows up at the last minute, and then you fight her, and then you have to take care of her. So it's not really... It doesn't really try to hide him as much. And they do a good twist with him that I honestly didn't see coming. I mean, it's one I should have seen, given by the whole double world nature of the series. But it was still a nice one nonetheless. So yeah, the story is decent. It's just the overall lore and world building just feels like a pointless reboot and redoing of everything that didn't need to be altered. And as such, it feels less like a sequel and more like its own separate entity, hot with barely a connection to the original Ni no Kuni, with the exception of just the names. Sample for my comparison, sweet, thanks. Let's take a look. America and the other samples we gave you, suppose it must be polluted. Mm-hmm.
Listen, you!
Spit it out, man. We're the ones who put our lives on the line to get that stuff for you. Do your thing and give us the lowdown. Your latest sample is so fascinating, I completely forgot you were even there. Well, we are, so go flippin' talking. What are you smiling for anyway? Made a breakthrough or something, have we? Well, this water you gave me, it's not polluted at all. It's just as pure as all the other samples. The only difference is that you had to fight that monster, right? The big jellyfish? Well, this water sample's packed full of its little babies. Baby jellyfish? I'm not sure I like the sound of that. No, it's a good thing. Like a really good thing. Proves how good the environment around here is at supporting all kinds of different life forms.
Okay.
Right, but you don't want your ocean to be filled with monsters, do you? I certainly don't. Why? Why are the little creatures in the water from that island and not any of the other samples we gave you?
Yeah.
Luckily for you, I figured out the answer while you were gone. Turns out there was a special law that meant the water around the city was kept extra pure. The Queen came up with it, apparently, and all these guys would spend their whole day casting spells on the sea. And those spells kept unwanted life forms from entering the water or something? Right, but that law doesn't exist anymore. Seems the Queen changed her mind, something about letting things be as they should be. Anyway, the upshot is that no one's casting those purifying spells anymore. Sounds bad, right? Actually, it's good. The seas around the city are filling back up with all kinds of wildlife as a result. It's a bit sad, though, isn't it? That Queen Nair's made her peace with this place going to seed, I mean. You know what you mean, but suppose it's just how things have to be, and just imagine the sea will be packed with all sorts of fascinating creatures before long. Sure seems that way.
Bye.
I've got to head back. Thanks for all your help, guys. Looks like Broadleaf Inc. is going to be learning a lot from Queen Naria and her kingdom. Okay, so we didn't recruit him. Boo. Okay, so where to now? And now, in regards to the combat, you fight a lot of different monsters throughout the game, and for the most, you do fight a lot of different monsters throughout the game, but when I mean a lot, I mean that relatively speaking, in regards to this game, and honestly, Yeah, I changed my mind. You fight like several variants of monsters, but if you're looking for the amount of variety that was in the first Ni no Kuni, you're gonna be so sorely disappointed. Honestly, I have to be really, really honest. The enemy variety in Ni no Kuni 2 sucks. There's like about a dozen or so, and that's really it. I mean, you've got these goo-based enemies that are basically watery blobs. You've got wyverns who are basically who are basically like man-sized dragon creatures with axes. That jellyfish thing. Little fairy things that prefer to get you at a distance. And, well, oh no, it's this girl again. She wants me to get her another Higgledy.
Thanks.
Thanks for bringing that Higgledy to meet me. So you, the guy who found that Higgledy for my sister. Thanks so much for that. You really helped us out. You're welcome. How's your sister been? It's tricky. She's feeling a whole lot better, but lately she's stopped wanting to leave the house. It's almost like she's scared of going outside.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Guess she's nervous about meeting people after so long. She doesn't want to get sick again. I'll have to stay with her at least at first, but she's just not interested. Can't force her to leave her room, right? Suppose not. Wonder if there's anything I can do to help. She used to be so cheerful, always smiling, you know. She's smiling right there, actually. I have an idea. You brought your Higgledy meter, right? The one from her storybook? Well, maybe if you brought along another Higgledy, a super cheerful one, it might remind her of how she used to be. Oh, great. A really cheerful Higgledy. Great. Do I have any? Doubtful. I thought I was done with this quest. Nope, they want me to do it again. Okay, where's this one at? Don't know where she is. Deca. There was no indication of him being sought after in Goldpaw. There was no exclamation point. And I really don't want to fight. Go and fight, what's his name again? Doloran, because I did that the other day.
Welcome to Swift Solutions.
No new citizens. Really, man?
Oh, by the way,
I'm confused. Okay, I assumed that, I would get the last couple of post-game quests, but so far it doesn't seem to be doing it. I don't know. And the Taskmaster, well, he's not giving me anything, so I don't know where I'll have to get everyone. Okay, is there anyone here? Oh, yes, there is. But yeah, as I was saying, the enemy variety honestly is pitiful compared to the first Ni no Kuni. It's like a dozen enemies, with the only differences being like their skin color and what elements they have in regards to their powers. And they're all the same no matter where you go. There's virtually no variety at all. I mean, Ni no Kuni 1, whenever you went to a different area, it was themed. The enemies around there were themed around it, and they were all different. You rarely ever encountered the same enemy class type in the same two areas. occasionally you would, if they were a different evolutionary offshoot from an enemy class, that's typically from another area. But all the same, it would usually be rare. It would usually be rare. Everything was different, and you had a huge variety. This game, not so much. Surely must know I can't possibly go picking flowers on some snowy mountain all by myself.
Me?
You look worried. King Evan, I am worried. You see, my master has given me an order, but I know full well that I can't possibly carry it out. He said I must go and get him a tundra rose. How can I possibly do such a thing? They only grow in the harshest, most wintry terrain.
Gosh.
Especially when you consider there might be monsters out there in the snow as well. I can't fight monsters or climb mountains for that matter, but I don't want to let him down either. Must know what he's asking the impossible. He's just a little boy, you see. His parents are always busy, and I'm usually the one who's around to play with him. Doesn't make requests like this often. Like, at least try and do this for him if I can. Case, why don't I go and find one for you? You really do that? Of course. I ain't letting your masters down, can we? Don't worry. Used to fighting monsters. I've got my friends to help me too. Mustn't get you involved in this, your majesty. Such a silly little thing. Nonsense. Happy to help. Besides, it would be nice for your masters to know how much you care about him. If you insist, thank you. No problem. Jack Frost Playground. How is... what's his name supposed to go do that all the way in Jack Frost Playground, which is like on a whole other continent? I don't know, the logic in this game sometimes. Okay, and what's this guy's story?
Okay.
Grimalkin, Mousekind humans, doesn't matter. We're all the same deep down. If King Mouseinger can persuade the people of Ding Dong Dell of that, there's hope for this place yet. Okay. Oh, there's the person I need to see.
Oh.
Grampus. Hello there, King Evan. Been a while.
Oh.
Hello, Grampus. How are things?
What the flip?
You know each other? Then do you?
Hmm.
Oh yes, Grampus works as an engraver up at the palace. He's worked at all the royal treasures, you know. Even my father's crown.
Flippin' heck!
Really? Must have a heck of a level of talent on him. Oh please, you flatter me. Now I was hoping I'd get a chance to talk to you, your majesty. I've been speaking to King Mouseinger about my career development. Shall we say we both agree that I should move to Evermore? Talk about lucky. We just walk up to the bloke and he's asking to come up and live over our way just like that. Tidy. Oh, how I wish 75% of them were just like that sometimes.
Huh?
What's with the long face, misery guts? Ain't you happy to have some tip-top talent on board or something? Never mind, he wants us to do something for him.
Ah, yes.
I don't think he's sad at the thought. More nervous, am I right? Whenever I saw each other back in the day, I always used to challenge him to a fiendish riddle. I'd rather think he's worried about what I might have in store for him this time.
Flippin' heck, man!
A riddle? Flippin' heck, mon. And there I was thinking we'd bagged ourselves a new citizen without having to jump through hoops for once.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, I used to love Grampus's riddles when I was a little boy. But they're not to be taken lightly. Always used to say if I can't solve them, I wasn't worthy of being king. Well, no wonder Mousinger's so keen to see the back of him. Riddles indeed. What king's got time for that nonsense? Well, I'm sure that's not the reason he thinks he should come to Evermore. At least not... no, it can't be. Well, whatever King Mousinger thinks, I'm certainly keen to see if I'm up to the challenge, especially now Father isn't here to help me.
Oh.
I had a feeling you'd say that, and I prepared an absolute gem for you, you lucky young thing. The answer to my riddle is a ring made from 4 or 5 materials, and here's how to find them. To those who have a brave maelstrom and find tranquility, remain jolly all the while, everything will slowly become clear. Sounds like you're halfway there already. Brave the maelstrom, find tranquility, remain jolly, and all will become clear. Tell me what I need to make what I'll need to make the rain. Maelstrom, tranquility, jolly. Is he talking about the sea? That's what it seems like.
Tidy!
Alright, you hear the riddle again. Okay, will he show anything? No. I need to figure it out by myself. Great. Ugh. Okay. But yeah, so as I was saying, yeah, enemy variety, pitiful. Same enemy types you end up fighting pretty much everywhere in the game. No differences other than skin color and an element. It's honestly quite pitiful. Now, the game does have a fair amount of boss fights, although most of them, frankly, are pretty much just tainted, super strong versions of the enemies you find everywhere else. But for what the legit boss fights there are, not the monster behind it, must be the Tundra Rosalie and Ting Dong Del Assos to find, ain't it?
Oh.
Spotted, Lufty. It's a very much, round and press. Eagle eyes from now on. We shall we? I think we'll screen before we grab that rose. Yeah, a Ziggy. Again, just a reskin version of a higher class enemy from that I've faced already. And I got my ass beat. And this happens a lot with these things, unfortunately.
That was close.
Let's get him. Yeah.
That was close. Lend me your power.
Oh, come on. I hate fighting tainted monsters. More so than the actual bosses themselves.
I need your help. Lend me your power.
Songbook number 23. So yeah, that's one of the collectibles in this game. Songbooks. Which are pretty much just...
You went wrong there.
Let's go back to the Bell. Yeah, it's basically like the game's soundtrack. You can pretty much earn it, although it doesn't really do much in the end. And, yeah, the bosses in the game, which are usually the Kingmakers, along with a few others, they're pretty good. They have a decent amount of variety to them where it's not really the same thing. So the Kingmakers, a couple of other legit bosses here and there, Dolorant, of course. Those are probably the best things to fight in the game because they're pretty varied. And you really do make more use of your Higgledies in those situations because of how they, I guess, artificially make everything different because they all have a little quirk to them that you have to exploit. And in one part, there was one fight where one Higgledy you had to use kind of turned into a machine gun turret, which was, I'm not gonna lie, was kind of funny. in an awesome kind of way. Tundra Rose. You brought me a Tundra Rose. Isn't it beautiful?
Thank you.
Thank you so much, King Evan. The rock and his kindness. My master is sure to be delighted as well, of course. Better go and give it to him. Wait for you here so you can tell how it goes. Shan't be too long. How'd it go? Did you like it? I told him that it was you who picked it for him, Your Majesty. He became rather embarrassed. Embarrassed, but why? So as you heard that I'd had to ask a real-life king for help, he seemed to realize how demanding he had been, which made him rather sheepish. But he did also explain to me why he was so keen to get his hands on one. You see, Tundra Roses are known for their ability to survive hardship. He thought that having one might help him cope when his parents were away. But now he says he's terribly ashamed because his selfishness has caused us all so much trouble.
Oh!
Tell me about it. It cost me some sage tear. It cost me some revival tears. Oh, it's no trouble at all. If I helped him open up, you know about how he felt, then it was more than worthwhile. Certainly did. Thank you very much on both of our behalves.
Thank you.
Let's accept this as a token of my gratitude. It's not much, but I would like you to have it. Songbook. Nothing else. So yeah, the Kingmaker fights, the Dolorant fight, and a couple of other bosses here and there. Those are honestly the best ones, because they all are legitimately different and play differently. So I don't have any problems with them at all.
Welcome
Okay,
to
will
Swift
he
Solutions.
will he actually have new citizens? No, he doesn't.
Oh, by the way,
Kind of hard to complete finishing the castle when nobody is giving me anything. And by that I mean nobody's actually being up for recruitment. It's all just generic quests. Wait, some things have happened. Although I don't... a bunch of stuff is open. Let's see. I pray it is going to get certain people to bring over here, because that's what I really need. So yeah, we got our kingdom here, where we make stuff, build stuff. And honestly, this is honestly the best thing about the game. And, you know, going around, doing all this, building all this different stuff. It's great, I like it. Now, what do I gotta do? King Evan, we've been waiting for a chance to speak with you. Something we'd like to discuss, you see, something very important. Should probably talk at the castle. What are they gonna do?
Hey!
You gotta decide it's time for us to try and recreate the legendary equipment.
Oh!
That's huge. It means that's been your dream for a while now, hasn't it? Not sure I've ever actually asked you much about it, though. What exactly makes it legendary? Did we not tell you, Your Majesty? You must forgive this foolish oversight. The legend in question originated in Goldpaw, newbie. I think perhaps you tell it best. Thank you. The story begins with a master craftsman who designed a set of equipment that he named the Divine Silence due to the great calm it bestowed upon its wearer during battle. But having seen how those with ill intent might choose to misuse such items, he devised a trial to ensure that the secret of how to make this equipment will only be passed on to those worthy of it. Only those capable of smiting mighty Snickersnarl shall learn the secrets of my craft, he declared, and trusted all his designs to a fearsome wolf by that name. This craftsman is dead now, but Snickersnarl lives on, awaiting the day when a worthy warrior will appear at last to defeat him and claim the respect the secrets he has guarded for so long. So what you're saying is, in order to fulfill your dream and create the legendary equipment, you need to defeat this wolf.
Evan!
Read between the lines. It was to go and novel it for him, ain't it? We had not thought to ask quite so bluntly, but well, we'd be happy to. I mean, we'd all come this far together. I'll do whatever I can to make your dreams come true. Thank you, Your Majesty. Peace be sound somewhere in Jack Frost's playground. The icy cold is said to imbue it with great power. The beast is also rumored to only reveal itself to warriors it deems worthy. This would be a problem for us, of course, but not for you, Your Majesty.
Yeah.
Seems there's a little left for us to do, but bid you good luck. We'll await your return to the weapon workshop. Okay. I'll do this in a bit. Welcome back, King Evan. Everybody bring all the poor people back to their senses. What a hero you are.
Thank you.
It's very kind of you. Still haven't taken care of the horn one yet, though. Well, technically we did. Which goes into my iffiness in regards to post-game content. Oh, but that's surely only a matter of time, Your Majesty. Everyone here is behind you all the way. You're going to save the world. Certainly going to try. Thanks ever so much for your support. A lot easier going to battle knowing everything's on my side.
Yes.
That reminds me... Meaning to mention this for a while. You think this outfit's a little flimsy for all the fighting you're doing?
What?
Flimsy? Really? Please, don't misunderstand me. It's adorable and suits you wonderfully. But it doesn't really say battle-hardened warrior. Do you know what I mean?
Gosh.
Never really thought about it before. I suppose it would be nice to have an outfit that did say that. Wouldn't it? Fortunately for you, I got just the thing in mind. I don't have the materials I need to put it together, neither do any of my suppliers. Could bring you the things you need.
Huh?
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Wild leather, 3 hides should do the trick. I have the wild leather.
Yeah.
3 hides. 54 for 3. That'll do nicely. Stylish string.
Yeah.
Also have that. Cord, fit for a king. Tranquillium nuggets. I think I have at least 2. A lot of Tranquillium.
Thank you very much.
New out for it in a jiffy. Oh, that's way better. I think.
Golly.
I really do feel stronger somehow. How strange. Well, you can rest assured that there are no magical charms at work here, Your Majesty. You feel something welling up within you. I expect it's the pride of having seen how far your kingdom's come and how much your people believe you while you went around gathering all those materials.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for my new outfit. I love it. Shall try not to get it too dirty.
Huh?
Don't be ridiculous, Your Majesty. I made it for you to do battle in. Go out there and get it covered in all the blood, sweat, and tears you can. Tears. Excuse me. Of course, do my best. Thank you so much. Vestments of victory. Yay, another new outfit. Yeah, I'm going with the battle suit. Now, what was I talking about before? Fuck it, I forget. Oh yeah, that's right, the post-game content. This was, a Let me talk about it in a minute.
Hey.
Post game. Nice timing, kid.
Hello.
Alexis, everything all right? Not too bad, I guess. Wondering if you could help me out with something. Aromatic sap, couple dollops. Don't know who else to ask. Aromatic sap. Jim told me about it. Says the absolute best. Sure he knows what he's talking about. Tried out of other oils, but I don't really seem to do the trick. There's no other way. Know exactly what I need. Can I get your hands on some? I can't really say no, can I? Of course, I'll find you some. 2 drops of aromatic sap coming up.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. I don't have them. Where to even get them? I hope my general store has them.
Come
But
to
yeah,
do some shopping,
this was
eh?
this was a thing I kind of had a bit of a problem with in Ni no Kuni 1. That you beat the game, all the story, beginning, middle, and end, and all of a sudden, it brings you back like at least around an hour or so before the actual end of the game with more stuff to do that honestly should have been available to do because it tied in with the story well enough. Well, they did it again in this game. You beat the main story, they bring you back before the final fight and to do more stuff. Well, honestly, what is the point? You beat everything and everyone. What's even the point of doing more stuff to tackle the big bad again when you've already done it? It honestly does not make much sense to me. Why even bother adding 5 or to 10 missions that should have been there in the first place? And could have done them easily there when, instead of putting putting them where they should be. Why would they just leave them off hanging like that? It's a design philosophy that to me just screams of trying to squeeze out more time into a game when they should have done it, putting it there in the first place. No, I don't have aromatic sap. God
What
damn
else
it.
can I do for you? I'll be seeing you again then.
Okay. Like, I don't get it. If it's in the game, put it in a part of the game where it should be and makes sense. Don't have me beat the game having dedicated so many hours and all of a sudden be like, oh no, we gotta go have you do it again because you did this stuff wasn't there before. Like, really? No. Beginning, middle, fucking end. Put the stuff in the game where it should be because of how it ties in. Why the heck would you just leave it off like that? I never understood that. It's something I wish developers would stop doing. May I ask who you are?
Yeah.
Honor to finally meet you, Evan Pettywhisker Tildrum. I am Centauri. I'm a poet, a minstrel, if you will. My destiny is to serve the one true king, the one who will unite the world. Which is why I've come to see you. I wouldn't really call myself the one true king just yet. Neither would I. Indeed, it is my duty to put you to the test, in order to see you will be worthy of such a title.
Oh my.
I see. I thought you meant I was. You can tell me more about this test?
Yes.
The starless night has been tainted by a great evil. It is a pitiful sight, but nothing the one true king would not be able to handle. Monsters whose souls have been corrupted in this manner will end up devouring the world itself, and they are not stopped. You have it in you to exercise the evil that consumes the creature.
All right.
I mean, if I can defeat the starless night, you will recognize me as the one true king and even come and live with us in Evermore. Why not? Shall wait here until you have proven yourself or perish in the attempt. Finally, a new recruit. I will pray for your success and look forward to the day when I may serve you as my lord and master. Bleachbone Shrine. So yeah, I don't like nor understand this concept of leaving out missions that should have been in the main campaign to begin with and having them just hanging there after the ending. I don't get it, I don't like it, and I wish developers would stop doing that. It doesn't harm the game, not really, but it is annoying having to put all the effort to defeat the game's final boss and be like, yes, I beat it, and then have all this happen.
Hey.
Seeing you here, working on my latest opus, Cuisines of the World. What is one dish that transcends all borders, one that's beloved in Neil Dell, the other world's kingdoms?
Gosh.
Let me think. Spicy, stewy, and hearty. Some are made with vegetables, meat, or even made with cheese.
Oh.
You're talking about curry, aren't you?
Yes.
Well done. Common or garden curries do not particularly interest me. Red and exotic curry told in ancient legends. Staple of a long-lost civilization, can you imagine? Confess, this dish does not sound particularly appetizing. Sure, there's no accent that is known as a gloopy curry, after all. Consider it nothing less than my duty to sample it in the name of cultural curiosity. Be very grateful indeed. I think don't I have that? I think I could have sworn I got
Thanks
that.
a lot.
Thank you so much. No, I don't. Thought I did.
Hello.
How's your artwork coming along, Hippanoe? Some of my best ever work. Smiles of the people of Evermore fill my pictures with joy and light. Sounds wonderful.
Yes.
Strangers come to me to praise my work. Some have even purchased paintings. I was so shy back in Hydropolis, but now I look forward to every new interaction. What is more, I have fully rediscovered my love of making art. Honestly, I doubt that I have ever been happier. So lovely to hear. All I want is for the people of Evermore to be happy. There's one thing I had been meaning to ask you, Your Majesty. Something that a sky pirate friend of mine related to me. There exists somewhere in the world a flower named the opal hudrum. Said to be made up of all the colors of the rainbow. Simply knew that the pigments such a flower produced would elevate my artwork entirely to new level, only to express my feelings as never before. That is why I paint. After all, it's always been why I paint. Communicate my deepest emotions with my audience. And you really think this flower could help you do that? Can't wait to see it. Nor can I, Your Majesty. Last flower is extremely rare, not impossible to acquire as far as I understand it. Sounds like a challenge. I'll find you an opal hudrum for you. Thank you, Your Majesty. Another rare thing. Chinggis. We have another level from old Tyron.
What?
Another one. Was this one tied to an arrow too? No, lad, this one was delivered by a bird. A bird? He certainly is an interesting fellow. Let's see what it says, shall we? Dear Mr. Imposter, finally gone flaming overtime from gals of coop, lead me in switching glue, show me force from the that cheers, Tyran, real thing. Oh my god, buy a frickin' Linkin Park CD. Just go away already. Sheesh. The swab is way worse, that's for certain. Has there not been a coup? Misuse of your land ain't exactly he's been a pal of ours in the past. Can't help but get the feeling he doesn't dislike us quite as much as he pretends. Going to go and talk to him, mention squeeze through grotto near the Force of Nialdani. Let's see if I can find him there. Won't stop ya, be careful now. Ugh, this guy, Tyron, has been a thorn in our side throughout the entire game. Wait, we're gonna recruit him? The man's been trying to kill us for like 99.9% of the game, and now we gotta go talk to him and try to recruit him. Are you nuts? Well, whatever. Might as well do it. I am trying to do what I can in completing the game after all. Okay, where's the shrine we gotta go to? All the way in the desert. And yeah, that's another thing that kind of bugs me in regards to the areas. Half the locations in Ni no Kuni 2 are not even populated. In the other games, every continent and every area had like a city or a small settlement of a certain civilization of people that inhabited it. In this game, only about half of the total areas have any particular people anywhere. The desert has nobody. The ice area has nobody. There's not even a fairy island anywhere with Drippy's people like in the first game. So it's like half the population like just suddenly disappeared. Like they're nowhere there. And that's a missed opportunity in my opinion. I mean, you got a giant crashed airship of Jack Frost's playground. No survivors eking out there or descendants of survivors. Nope. Just barren wasteland with monsters. And as far as the dungeons are concerned, again, being honest, they're pretty pitiful compared to Ni no Kuni 1. I hate to keep comparing it, but it's honestly true. A lot of the main levels and dungeons in Ni no Kuni 1, they all had like a theme around them and a puzzle that you had to solve. In Ni no Kuni 1, you had like one area where you had to where there was one dungeon where you were like you had to get turned into a frog by marks on the floor in order to get through certain areas and change back, and so on and so forth. There were many different areas with different dungeons, themes surrounding them. In this game, 90% of the total dungeons are pretty much just walk around, kill monsters, open the chest, get the thing you need, or beat the boss and be out of there. The only dungeon with a puzzle that I ever ran into was in Ding Dong Dell, and it was nothing more than a recycled variant of the Flame Torch sewer puzzle from the very first Ni no Kuni, way back when. It was not even that different at all. I mean, the layout was different, but the overall theme was the same. It really was not... There was literally no difference other than just the map layout. So, it was a really huge missed opportunity. Stuff that's all lovely, warm, and furry. Lovely. Is it this? I hate the Higglesy tones. They're half the time they're vague. I mean, some of them you can figure out easily, like this one, but there's other times where they'll be like, "Oh, I want this thing." You'll look, find the thing that closely matches with it, and they'll be like, "Nah, that's not it." And like, what the fuck? Tea kettle to toasty, and that's also that, and this vagueness also ties into that Higgledy Girls quest. It tells you this Higgledy that what it's themed around, but when you go to look up the Higgledies that you need and their bio, there is nothing. They do not give you any identification as to which Higgledy they're talking about. I mean, there's one YouTuber that I like who said that some video games make it where some quests you have to go and look it up because you're never going to figure it out. That's one of them. The Higgledy Girls quest and along with other ones, are ones I would not be able to figure out by myself had I not looked up the solutions by myself. I really hate to do that in a lot of games because it honestly just makes me feel dumb. But in this case, It's not even dumb. They just don't even bother to put in the clues. It reminds me of Mass Effect 3 and its terrible quest system, which never told you a goddamn thing. And I have that problem with this game at times. And anything that reminds me of Mass Effect 3 and its terrible quest system is usually not a good thing. Granted, most of the quests in this are doable and can be figured out. But when they're so vague like that one is, it's like, no, why would you do that? To me, a quest of any kind is not a quest unless it begins with a complete sentence, in which case you give me a time, a name, a place, a verb, a noun, so on and so forth. And I'm sorry, but a vague description doesn't really tell me anything. It's only like a bare minimum, a quarter of what's really required. You've encountered sentient monsters, I take it. The poor creatures are infected with darkness unlike any other. Little of the night in our hearts. Infection causes the darkness to run rampant, take over the host entirely. Pure hearts have nothing to fear, it may be the case, but if you have to encounter such a person, you must remain ever vigilant. And you don't, unlike the first game, you don't go to the other world, like, at all. You're primarily in this world. To me, that was part of the fun of the first Ni no Kuni, going into the other world, interacting, and seeing how it affects the other world, so on and so forth. This, not so much. Starless Night. Oh, you see how much health he takes. And of course I missed. This is really the only kind of boss fight and monster that honestly, actually is